It really doesn't matter if you're just starting out in acting or if you literally have an Oscar sitting on your desk. Tracking some details in your auditions can be a tool to strategically take next steps in your career, because just like your personal life, your career life is always evolving based off of experience and age, and like your goals evolve. Gathering certain data can help you improve your happiness and your work-life balance, because if you're like 99.9% of us actors and you have a family, hobbies, another source of income, you can see what is serving you and what you really need to start saying no to. Let's start with the career strategy part. So what should you track? And in my Audition Tracker, which you can find a link to in the comments, I track so many things, but I encourage you to take a look and see what's actually going to serve you and just delete the categories that are not. And how you're going to find out what you actually should keep is that you're going to track everything for 3 to 6 months, and then you're going to go back and see what interests you, what is going to benefit you, and anything that you don't have to track, then go ahead and delete it, because you're just going to waste time tracking a bunch of stuff that you're never going to look back to. Or if you want to do the just in case, track everything, keep everything, be disciplined, and just hope that one day you'll actually use it. Tracking your auditions, you're going to start finding patterns. So what casting offices are calling you in again and again and again? What casting websites that you're using to self-submit or reps are getting you the most self-tape audition requests? And what months or days are you auditioning the most? Because that's going to help you to be able to plan days off or vacations. What headshots are you using to self-submit, and what kind of auditions are you getting? For example, if your headshots give off major mom vibes, but you actually have more of a personality of a like quirky college kid, you keep getting these mom role auditions because that's what your headshot is saying, and you're not booking because once you send in the self-tape, you give off, like, you ooze quirky college kid, and that's why you're not booking it. So you're probably going to need to change up your headshots. What are you booking or not booking? Did you audition for 100 commercials this year and didn't even book one? Do you even like commercials, or is it just sucking up all of your time? Could you instead be maybe doing a play and enjoy that a lot more? Or do you love commercials but aren't booking them? So maybe you should go take a commercial acting class or get a commercial coach that can help you book those, or take a casting director workshop that does a lot of commercials. All of this helps you see what are your next steps so you can do more of what you want. And you can share all of this data. You can share it with your reps, you can share it with your acting coaches, headshot photographers, and then that way they can help you with next steps. Now, how do you stay consistent in tracking all of these auditions? You need to make it part of your routine because it's not going to be natural. At first, it might take you like 7 minutes to track one audition, but the more you do it, it's going to get a lot faster. It's going to end up being like 1 minute. And how you're going to do this is that as soon as you accept a self-tape request, like when you click yes, you're going to start filling in the tracker. And then once you finish the audition, you'll go back and put more information on there. And then if you're lucky enough to book the job, you can put your link there for the final product. Looking back at the tracker, at the end of the year, you can go back and look at all of your commercial auditions and all of your theatrical auditions and really have a fresh eye on them and judge yourself in retrospect, which is a lot easier than like live when you just auditioned and you're now sending it. And once you see the final product, like if it's a commercial or film or whatever, once you see the final product, you can compare your audition to what they ended up doing in the project, and you can see if you actually understood their self-tape audition request and you understood the project, or if maybe they just wanted to go with somebody with a different look, like maybe they had different hair or ended up using a different gender. Tracking the time you spent on the audition and what coach you used, or who was your reader, or how much time you spent memorizing, researching, it's going to improve your auditions in the future, because I have been guilty of not spending enough time with my commercial auditions, and tracking can also help you with your goals. Like you want to do 10 jobs this year. Okay, well that might mean that you have to audition at least 15 times a month in order to try to book at least once a month. And this is all going to depend on your specific numbers. Of course, this is not the same for everybody. Tracking when auditions are due or when the fitting is, the callback, things like that is really helpful so you can see it all in one place. And you can also use it to remind yourself to follow up with people when appropriate. I usually follow up with indie filmmakers because I have a relationship with them, but I never ever follow up with commercial casting directors because you guys are getting like thousands of auditions. They really don't want to hear from all of us again. They're busy watching our auditions. And now you will have data to pull from if you want to send like a casting director an update email or your reps an update email, maybe stay in touch with filmmakers that you worked with this year. At the end of the year, you can send people thank you emails. Like if you had a reader that helped you with like 10 auditions, 20 auditions, you can say thank you. Or if a casting director called you in like 15 times, you can send them an email and be like, thank you so much. Like you're gonna have so much information and reasons to reach out to people. Tax purposes, you can keep track of how much money you spent on props, on printing, coaches, readers, travel, parking, gas, all of that. Now, how can this help your non-acting life? Seeing the progress on paper and seeing how much work you've put into acting this year can be so good. Because if you're not acting full time, I've felt this, so many of my actor friends have felt this. If you aren't acting full time, and once you go back at the end of the year and review how you spent your time, sometimes we feel guilty that we aren't doing this thing that we love so much. So doing the tracking and seeing it on paper that you have been auditioning a bunch and you have been working towards it is just going to give you a boost of confidence, and it's going to feel so good. I have a notes section on my audition tracker, and I just put like anything I want to remember. Things that I enjoyed, how was my experience, red flags, people I loved working with and I want to work with again. It can help you with boundaries. Like when was it the most difficult to concentrate on your acting and focus on that completely? Maybe you need to take off all of December to like spend time with family or recharge, or maybe that's the time of the year when you travel. All of this information helps you make decisions in your personal life and of course in your career. And the reality is that most actors audition more than they do anything else. So having this information will help you make better decisions in your career and in your non-acting life so that you can have a better life. Start tracking your auditions today. The link is in the pinned comment. And if you're like, I don't even have auditions to track, watch these videos. I have auditioned over 80 times in the last 6 months. And in my videos, I talk about what casting websites I used, how I used social media, industry events, how I got my reps, all of that. And speaking of auditions, I need to film a self-tape.